It all went to shit. And you know why I went to shit?
No, I don't.
The dog. The wiener dog.
Did you step on it?
I didn't step on that dog. I show up to his backyard for his 5th grade birthday.
What happened to the dog, Andrew?
Nothing happened to that dog.
Okay.
How about let's reframe that? What happened to this dog? What happened to this dog?
Head to factormeals.com/goodchildren50 and use code goodchildren50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next.
That's code goodchildren50 at factormeals.com/goodchildren50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month.
Troy, baby.
Hi, Charlie.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Honestly, babe, I am just recovering from what's been just an absolutely insane couple of weeks so far.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I haven't really slept since New York City.
Honestly, I haven't slept since 1999.
You're so right, Charlie.
It's been non-stop party ever since.
I'm
fully.
so obsessed with you. I'm so happy that we're best friends.
I am absolutely gagging for you, faggot. You are my favorite gay person I've ever met.
I'm your favorite gay person.
My favorite fag.
I thank you so much.
Of course, Troy, baby. Your accent sounds a little bit different today. I'm not really sure what that's about.
I'm feeling like I'm a little sick.
Because of the partying and all the touring.
I've been drinking a lot, and I've been singing a lot.
You've been singing non-stop, and you've been working that little twink body to its bone.
But lately. I mean, I feel like I'm almost giving twonk.
Today you're giving twonk for sure,
right?
For sure, yeah.
Something happened overnight.
You're on you're really you're pumping moans into your body right now. It seems like.
Yeah, I did one little pump last night, and this is what I woke up looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You are so stunning. I can't even stop looking at you.
Thanks, Troy, baby. I love your beret. It's
Thanks,
very chic.
Yeah.
We're not going to do it the whole time, guys. We're not going to do it the whole time this time.
That was really tough for me. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Because
I was
honestly,
going in and out of New Zealand.
I was too, though. I was dipping into... But the moment you started with Australian, I also started doing Australian because it was just natural instinct.
Of course.
But no,
I was almost panicked because I was I couldn't think straight doing an Australian accent. I didn't know what to say to you besides the fact that you were stunning. So that was really tough.
Well, it's hard to say anything else when I look like this.
Yeah, exactly. You look exactly like Charli XCX.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really brutal.
I haven't even I didn't even honestly look in the mirror. Does the wig look insane or does it look normal?
It looks completely normal.
Okay, great. This green light from my cauldron is hitting my face a little too Alpha Bonnian for me right now.
And you know what? If Elphaba really slayed, she would be Charli X. Wait, do you think Charli XCX could play Elphaba in the next Broadway musical?
Let's give that one to Cynthia.
You're right.
But
I think it would be an amazing version of Defying Gravity Auto-Tune.
So fucking imagine. Also, the idea of Troy and Charli going on stage as Glinda and Elphaba would be so fucking funny.
Oh, we need
to get in touch with Terry O'Connor right now and really say we have a big idea for Halloween.
Oh my God! Do they have where's their Halloween?
Do they have a show on Halloween?
Do they have a show on Halloween? Because if so,
someone get us in touch with somebody.
If they're not going to be Glinda and Alpha, I think that we should show up.
Well, no matter what. Well, I'm sure by Halloween the two of us will be dressed as Glinda and Alpha, or at least by Thanksgiving.
At least by Thanksgiving, okay. So if you are a celebrity and or Broadway makeup artist and costume designer, we actually need you.
It's kind of an emergency.
And if you work on the production of Wicked currently, we would take the costumes.
If we could just borrow them for one night. Not even for one night, for a couple hours in the morning, when there's not a matinee.
And come on, Joe, look at my body.
Look at my body.
I'm built for Glinda.
You're built for Glinda.
I would fit in that costume.
But it is interesting. I feel like you and I have
beef.
We have beef with each other over the Glinda and Elphaba casting between ourselves, and we had it for well over 20 to 23 years.
I just have something to say to you.
I also have something to say to you.
And something has changed within me.
And something is not the same in me.
Yeah.
It's kind of I'm through with playing by those rules.
And I think that what I can recognize in you is that you really are You really are Alphaba down, and that's not like everyone loves Alphaba. You know what I mean? So it's like nothing, no shade, no tea.
No, I want to be Alphaba.
Yeah, you want to be Alphaba.
But
the only reason I want to be Alphaba is because that last note.
Yeah, I know, and honestly, like I'm just gonna have to like get in the studio.
You are
like
that's
for a
fine.
long time and like really get to work on it because it's gonna be a challenge. But you know what I think I would like to see, and that's true solidarity. Give them both the note.
Imagine them both the note.
I think I'd have chills.
Different riffs happening at the same time. Maybe let's just pair it up and do a little harmony. I think that we can work on that.
I think that it'd be nice to share that moment. I'm happy to share that moment with you.
Because you know what? That is exactly what the people need to see is Alphaba and Glinda sharing the moment.
Exactly.
More moments need to be shared. Troye and Charli shared some moments.
They shared that moment, yeah. Hey guys, and welcome back to Good Children, the podcast for hosts Charli XCX
and Troye Sivan talk about their 24 years of friendship.
Growing up in the late 2000s, early 2010s.
In all of the nostalgia,
trauma,
and iconic duos that come along with it.
This week, we will be discussing our other best friends that we've had throughout our lives, both together and separately, as well as some other iconic duos out and about, as well as concerts.
Because you know what? This is going to be a hodgepodge of everything because we were thinking we want to give you a little bit more of a background on who we are. We've talked about these people before. These people are friends that have been a part of our lives before, but I think it's good to get the context and then to understand where we're at now, talking about the iconic duos of Charli and Troye, and those have come before us, and the ones that are to come from here.
And we're not going to address the wig that you have on, but...
Do you want me to?
I think you should.
Okay, I'm just going to say the wig that I have on currently is last week's Agatha Cromwell wig flipped backwards with the little bang. It honestly works perfectly for Troye. I was saying this last week. I ordered a different wig and it was it looks nothing like Troye Sivan's hair. So I was gonna do a full cut. I decided
this was a much better idea. Yeah.
Much better idea.
Has Troye worn berets?
I looked up Troye hat on Google and I saw him in a beret.
Recently?
Within the past like 5 years.
Okay, that's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
He's gonna be scrolling on his For You page and see this and be like, "When did I wear this?
When did I wear this?
Was I in Paris?
This Montreal shirt with a little beret.
It's very French Canadian. The whole look.
Parisian, yeah.
It's extremely you're
French
giving
Canadian.
Canada down.
Yeah. Well, are they going to Canada soon?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Are
Canadians listening to Brat?
Joe, of course.
I'm sure. Well, let's talk about Charli XCX for a second.
Please.
I'm really happy for everyone who was invited to the Sweat Tour through a brand or a company who I have on record having no clue what Brat was in July of this summer. So I'm happy for them. I think that's amazing. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Why do I care? Why am I trying to gatekeep an artist that also I admittedly got into in like 2020, you know, like I was down with Charli during like Sucker. I loved Sucker. And then I lost interest for a second. And then I came back around, what is that? What's that little bug?
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
What is it?
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
What
that is a large centipede.
No.
Joe, look how big it is. It's popping its head out of the corner.
No.
It's popping its head out of its corner and the little antennas.
Kill it.
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I'm going to kill that?
It looks small.
A small little.
Am I seeing the wrong thing?
You're looking there? Or are you looking there?
I'm looking there.
By the door?
By the door.
Yeah, no. It's small, but it's half in. It's half out.
Are you hallucinating? Are you having a psychotic break?
Maybe it is small. You were talking about the one all the way in that corner.
I saw it run into the room and then it went by that corner.
Yeah, I still see it.
I haven't seen many bugs down here. I don't know about you because you live down here, but I haven't seen many bugs.
I've only seen one, and it was maybe that bug.
Okay.
Actually, it was a lot larger.
Anyway, Brat Summer is for everyone. Charli's for everyone. I'm happy for everyone who went to the concert. I think it really is amazing for her.
And I also think it's amazing for her, and I think it's really sometimes it's hard for when you've been listening to an artist for a really long time and you see them start to become successful, and then you do want to gatekeep them. You get angry. You get angry when you see the people joining the bandwagon, but you have to recognize that artist, that person.
It's good for the artist.
It's really good for them. They want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you think that people think that about us? It's like the people that listen to the first week and then they see us now and they're
like, they're still doing exactly what they were doing week 1. You know what I mean? If we were performing at MSG, sold out maybe, but I don't think much
people
has
are still
changed.
watching the podcast and they're like, oh.
I'm so happy that they're still where they're at.
I'm still happy they're still together. They're still here with us.
No, but I do think it's insane, like, to look at the trajectory of Charli's career. Carly Rae. Congrats on the engagement, but girl, get back in that studio.
Girl, get back in the studio. We need you.
Get back in that studio.
Please, we need you.
Yeah, I really do. Even Troye. When Troye walked out on stage at the Sweat Tour, tell me why I cried instantaneously. Yeah. Instantaneously.
I think that it's like when you see somebody, especially him, I mean, both of them, you've seen them since they were like young.
Yeah.
Like young. And then growing up and then now together on that stage. And to see Troye Sivan, I was like, I mean, there are so many other gay pop stars, singers, whatever, but like he's really doing it, you know, and he's done it.
Yeah.
And you see him and you're like, oh my God.
It is crazy. I also think that he's cut from the internet cloth, you know, like I think, which is like, I mean, it's more and more common, but like he's a deep cut internet person. Mm-hmm. I feel like that just adds to it. Like there was something really special about the two of them up there. And also I had this one thought, and then we can move on from this experience unless you have other thoughts to share. But Charli has talked about this herself, you know, like this long-term climb towards commercial success despite making cutting edge music and people kind of lifting her style time and time again and then getting success off of her own shit. And then she was up there on that stage performing to a sold out crowd at MSG, and she's 32, 33 years old. And all I could think was like all of those years of her feeling insecure, you know, feeling like she hasn't gotten what she deserves, like just got washed away forever. And like for the rest of her life, she's never going to remember being like 26 and not feeling good enough. No. You know, like, and maybe she will, but it won't cut as deep, Sympathy is a Knife, as it did then. And I think we could all take a little something away from that. It's like, especially in your 20s, you're expecting yourself to like peak. You're expecting yourself professionally, personally, romantically to peak, like have everything going for you. But maybe they'll take your 30s, maybe they'll take your 40s, maybe it'll be your 50s. But like no matter what, like the moment will come, and then all of that time beforehand will matter so much less. All of the insecurities beforehand just kind of don't matter because you were right the whole time. Like Charli proved herself right. Yeah. And we could all prove ourselves right by just keep going and being excellent.
She had the time to process the things along the way. You
know
what I mean? It built an actual superstar, and you can be the superstar of your own life. And I hate to quote someone who's not Charli here, but there's always going to be another mountain, and you're always going to want to make it move. And I think that the climb, it's the climb, and sometimes it takes 10 years and sometimes it takes 15 years. And I think I say that to myself every single day as well. It's like, you know what, it might not be this year, but it could be in the next 5. And I'm at Madison Square Garden with Charli XCX, and we're performing to a sold out crowd.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that you and I would be performing at MSG sold out.
You don't think so?
Sure. I'm sorry, you're right. I'm sorry, you're right. You're completely
cutting
right.
edge music.
Right.
Just cutting edge.
Oh, what does that mean?
You've
been chopping it up?
No, I got nervous by just saying I was cutting. I think that was, yeah. So should we get into it?
Let's get into it. Who was your first best friend?
My first best friend? Probably... You want to go first?
Sure. I remember my first best friend, preschool. Again, for the Laura heads out there, me and Andrew went to the same preschool. We did not interact except for I remember seeing him eat a cookie in bed. He was full day, I was half day. In my half day preschool class, I was best friends with this boy named Mustafa. And Mustafa and I were truly, like, literally besties to the point where I remember one time we got in trouble during reading time because we both were holding on to the same string, or invisible string.
You were holding on to the same string.
Yeah.
That's sweet. You guys
And our
like
teacher
were
like yelled at
each
us
other like
and was
that?
like, "Stop."
Wait, why am I like feeling jealousy?
Because of Mustafa. Yeah, and then like I actually have like like it's impossible to ever find out who that was. Like, unless I put it out into the ether, someone knows Mustafa who went to Dilly Dally in 1999 or 2000.
Mustafa listens.
I don't know. I also have no idea if he would remember who I was. I just vividly I remember the string moment so clearly. So clearly.
That's so gorgeous.
And then along came Polly and everything changed.
Oh.
And you're Polly.
Well, I will say I probably think my first friend was Taylor Kelly.
Okay.
They were twins. And Alex Kelly. Taylor I actually dated.
Oh.
There's
always a new girl in the villa for Andrew in his backstory. When was this?
When I was 4.
So you dated Taylor at 4, and then
Jen came in elementary school.
And then so you ripped her hair out of her head.
Yeah, Jen was kindergarten when I ripped the hair out of the head.
Yeah.
But Taylor was when I was 4. I remember specifically, all I remembered with like hanging out with Taylor is like we would love to like eat at lunchtime because you didn't have lunch and
no, we went home before lunch.
But they were serving up.
What were they eating?
What were they eating?
Oh my god, the fish sticks.
That preschool smelled like a deep sea ocean. It smelled like fish nonstop. But I'm telling you one thing, I'm not a big fish head, but I was slurping down those fish sticks.
Why were they serving fish sticks? I feel like that's like the least logical choice
for a child
to eat
for like
at
4-year-olds.
Daycare.
It would be like chicken nuggets, but no, it was straight up fish sticks, and they looked like. I feel like fish sticks. If you were to put fish sticks next to French toast sticks,
they're
look
the
identical.
exact same shape. Yeah, they're in the same family. It's the same genome.
Mm-hmm. But I can tell you one thing: they're not tasting the same. But yes, I remember being with Taylor Kelly a lot, and all I remember is eating fish sticks with her, and then going to different birthday parties with her. And I was like, I actually think this is the one. And then once preschool was over, and then I went back to elementary school, and that's when I met Jen. Everything changed for me.
Everything changed for you.
Yeah.
And you ripped the hair out of her head.
Yeah. So I mean, again,
can you just tell that story again?
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell the story because
has Jen ever like messaged you about this?
No, Jen's never messaged me about this.
That's actually almost worse
because it's like the high school reunion's coming up soon. So like I'm wondering if she's gonna come.
She's gonna walk in and rip the hair out of your head. You're gonna come back into an episode in a month and you're gonna have a chunk missing from your hair.
I'll be like, thank God now. Now I can get the buzz. So the story goes, I was dating, or I was obsessed with this girl, Jen. We were in 5th grade. Oh, no, not 5th grade. 5 years old. I keep messing it up. We were in kindergarten. 5, sitting next to her on the bus. We've shared so many different moments together, sitting next to each other on a beautiful little carpet in kindergarten. We're on the way back to our homes after school one day. And I'm sitting there with her. And something happened. I must have been playing with her hair, or like, I feel like I got when I was younger.
Were you like, I'm a hairstylist?
Yes, I kind of feel like I had some sort of drive to be a hairstylist.
Yeah,
I remember
I also did, and it was stamped out of me like a fire.
Yep. Like when I was 5 to 8, I was learning how to braid.
Always braiding hair.
Loved to braid hair.
Oh, stop. It was my favorite thing to do. Mm-hmm. I should have gone to hair school.
Oh, absolutely.
I literally would always be like, Amanda, can I do your hair? Like as like a 5-year-old, and I would like do Amanda's hair every night.
Like that is sweet. That's how you really do know that like
you're a faggot.
That little kid is gay.
Yeah.
It's like you want to do hair, or they would like bring out like the little what are the strings?
Lanyards.
The lanyards.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, wait, let me braid. And all of the other boys would be like, wait, how do you do that? And I'm like, you want to see?
You were always like feminine that way.
Yeah.
Like you always did have like a special quality for like attention to detail. Mm-hmm. Like your handwriting was very faggy. Yes. I think you participated in, yet you had a lot of jockey activities, as we know. You played a lot of sports, but there was still an overwhelming amount of merriness to you that I think I almost envied.
Oh, Mary. Yes.
You were a real sissy.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Because you were good at that shit.
Welcome to the stage, real sissy.
Real sissy.
Yeah.
Real sissy.
Oh, that's sweet. And I used to call my sister that.
Yeah, same.
Sissy.
And everyone used to call me that back.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, that's for my sister, not for me. But anyways, I'm on the bus with Miss Jen. And something happened. Like, I wasn't angry, I would say. Oh, I don't think I was angry.
I really hope it wasn't hate motivated.
No, it absolutely wasn't. But I just remember placing my hand on her head. I start like kind of like grabbing a little bit because like, you know, I'm stroking the hair.
Ew.
As I'm sorry, like I can't use that word stroke.
Continue, I'm sorry.
I start grabbing the hair, we hit a bump, my hand clenches, and now the hair is in my hand. The hair was in my hand.
Did Jen say something?
I think we were both like shockingly very silent. We were both like in shock. Because I mean, like I had like a good amount of hair in my hand, and she had like a lot of hair missing from her head.
That is really horrible.
And then just like the aftermath was like, imagine.
Like, did parents get involved?
Of course,
School got involved?
School had to get involved.
So what happened next?
So
was
what
it like a phone call home?
Yeah, phone call home, and then
Andrew ripped the hair out of Jen's scalp.
Yes, and then Andrew needed to call Jen
and say sorry.
And like I think I was like talking to the dad as well. But after that, the love just grew stronger.
You're kidding. That brought you closer together?
We saw each other until at least second grade.
I don't believe this for a second.
I would go over her house.
I don't remember any of this though.
I know where
any of this.
You don't remember the hair?
I don't remember the hair. I definitely don't remember the 2-year-long relationship, the 3-year-long relationship.
Yes.
I don't believe that.
Joe, I went out with Jen for about 2 years.
I don't believe. I really just like don't. It's weird that I never heard about it. You never brought that home.
I'm sorry that I was pretty protective over my relationship. When I would go over your house, I wouldn't be like, yeah, I just ripped Jen's hair out of her head, or like, I was over Jen's house last night.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like you knew I was dating Sam.
I knew that you were dating Sam, so I didn't feel threatened. I was like, you've been just dating Sam. You know what I mean? Like you were dating Sam for about 7 years.
Me and Sam were a very public couple, I feel like. Yeah. It was really public that we were like together. It was kind of like Kate Middleton and Will.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Prince William? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just straight up Will. Kate Middleton and Will. Yeah, I guess Sam would be my next categoric bestie of this time, because it was like, if it wasn't you, it was Sam that I was hanging out with. We have some crazy pictures together.
You and
the
Sam.
Engagement shoot, the wedding photos from our communion.
She was always down.
She was always down
to clown.
She was down to clown, and she also, I mean, I have so many videos of me and Sam making skits and doing videos from like the same time range as us up until like right before 6th grade when she broke up with me. Like, I think I have a video from that week before the breakup.
Samantha's in the new movie.
Yes.
Shooting with the Stars.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be, but it's really supposed to be a reality TV show. But it's a movie, and it's supposed to be about Samantha is just a regular person, and to shoot a movie with stars.
Yes.
That's very fascinating. So
yes, it is. I've been great with the cast and the whole experience. It just got me thrilled.
And how's it like working with Dakota Fanning, Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley?
It's like when you're a little kid and you just imagine your life or the future. You never know what's going to pop up. And then finally, when you actually are there, you don't believe it, but you have to. It's amazing.
It's really interesting.
I know, Joe. Like, I bet when you were a kid, you would have never believed that you had your own
talk show.
I mean, Joe Heisen goes wild.
She broke up with you in 6th grade.
Going into 6th grade, summer going into 6th grade.
Stop. What did she say?
I'll never forget it was an AIM message, which when you think about it, that was crazy, Sam, because it was like...
It's like so many years in the making.
So many years in the making.
But Joe, he forgives you.
Well, I definitely forgive her for sure, and she's married now, and I'm gay, so I think it all worked out for the best, thank God. But I remember it was summer. It was probably on Club Penguin, probably on Webkins.
Yeah.
You know, I probably had sucked back a few of those juice jugs.
The
One
fucking
those jugs
blue
of
juice jugs.
Yeah, which is my tongue blue right now.
No, why did you just have
I'm
one?
drinking blue raspberry water right now.
Joe's back on his Skittle.
I'm back on my
shit.
Skittle waters, and I'm so happy. I don't care about the chemicals. I really don't.
It's really amazing. It's because it's like when Joe gets back on these trends or like goes back to these things, it's like, oh, Joe is back. Like He woke up this morning. He was cleaning the apartment. You know what I mean? I heard footsteps.
I haven't woken up.
He's back.
It's so embarrassing to admit this. I have not gotten out of bed. Not gotten out of bed, seriously. Or opened my bedroom door and walked out of the room. Because I have a bathroom I have an ensuite. So I will like usually like spend some time in the morning. I have not left my bedroom before noon in the past 3 months.
What time do you normally open your eyes?
Usually, my alarm is always set for 8:25, which is also insane. People have been at work.
Yeah, people
you know what I mean? Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
You've been at work for sometimes 4 hours at that point, like in a very serious way. I will go back to sleep every time. I'll just snooze it, and then like I will not wake up again until like 10:30.
Okay.
And then sometimes fall back asleep and wake up at 11.
No.
And then I scroll on my phone for an hour.
No.
Like, it's so...
And now for that listener, it really puts it into context.
Like, what's going on in my life.
What's going on in your life.
But
you're very productive.
because usually I'm up late working. But last night so let's talk about it. We all know I've had a few water bottles before. We all have seen me drink a Stanley Cup. We all have seen me drink an Owala. We've seen me drink a Hydro Flask. You've seen me drink I'm sure there's been other things in the mix at times. There was the Hydro Flask Stanley Cup. Remember that when they sent us
I remember that.
If Hydro Flask wants to send me another water bottle, I'll take it with pleasure. However, I have been struggling, and I'm sure any other waterhead out there like me who like needs a vessel to be invested in your water, like there comes a time when you hit a wall with your water.
Yeah.
And I hit a water wall in a pretty serious way this summer where I could no longer stand to sip out of my Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame because, one, they're expensive. I probably have about 4 of them. Some were gifted, some were PR, some were purchased by me. But they're just everywhere. There's 2 episodes of this podcast, only a few people ever clocked it, where I sip out of 3 different Stanley Cups throughout the entire episode, and like 2 people commented and were like, did Joe just drink out of 3 different cups? And no one else noticed.
No one noticed, but Joe before it was like, I'm going to drink out of 3 different cups.
It was like an Easter egg. It was like an Arrested Development Easter egg. Anyway, I'll make it short and sweet, like Sabrina Carpenter. So I haven't been hydrating in a very long time, long time. And that affects your productivity. It affects everything in your life. I haven't gone to the gym in months. I wouldn't say I've been depressed, but I definitely have been acting depressed, like physically, but mentally it's been fine.
What do you mean acting depressed?
Like
physically?
Sleeping a lot,
Yes.
like not going to the gym, like not really doing much, but mentally I've been feeling great.
Great.
However, I this week said I have to get back into the gym, and I can't keep bringing a Stanley Cup to an Orange Theory fitness class. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
So I said, let me buy something cheap and sporty, just like Andrew. And I searched the internet. I searched the World Wide Web, and just typed in like reusable water bottle. That was it. I scrolled past all of the insulated shit that's $65 plus. And I found a 2 for $18 deal on the Gatorade bottles that we used to sip on at soccer practice as 6-year-olds.
And Joe, just for everyone's sake, can you just give it a squeeze?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Because there's nothing better than getting that at the back of your throat.
And like, you ask someone for a sip.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like you waterfall it. Yeah.
That's not. No one's ever doing that anymore.
No.
With those reusable bottles.
Post-COVID, everyone. No, you can't really waterfall.
Can I get a sip? Can I get a sip of that?
No.
No, because it's not squirting out like that.
That I could squirt that in your mouth anytime I want.
From the seat, you could squirt that in my mouth.
So yeah, I highly recommend getting a Gatorade 2 for $18. And I drank so much water yesterday for the first time in months. I felt hydrated. Girls, I went to bed at 11 p.m. I went to bed reading. I was reading a book, Happy Hour, if anyone's familiar with it. Fell asleep within 20 pages. Woke up 8 a.m. bright and early, happy. Started cleaning the apartment. And here we are.
I heard footsteps since I live in the basement. I heard footsteps upstairs, and I was like, cannot be Joe.
Could not be Joe.
Not in the world.
No.
But then I heard water running, and I go, this is strange. What's going on up there? Someone's cleaning dishes. And then I woke up in a panic because I was like, this has to do with me.
It's a Sunday and my mom's upset.
Exactly. It felt just like a Saturday or a Sunday, waking up and you hear the vacuum and you're
pissed.
immediately,
You're not even pissed. You're terrified for your life.
Your body is, it's almost numb. You can't even walk. You can't even get out.
That was the worst.
It's the worst. And then the worst thing would be you go down those stairs and she's at the fridge. She's cleaning
the fridge.
When it was fridge day,
it was never. And like I think back to that a lot now. Like I'm like, what was so hard about my life?
yeah. Why was I upset about that?
Yeah.
Why was I nervous about that? It's like I absolutely should have been like, yeah, let me help you with the fridge.
But I was
now
like,
I'm like,
no.
yeah. But now we understand.
Now
what
I
they were
totally
doing.
get it. I totally understand my mother so clearly now.
Sometimes you just want to clean. Sometimes you
Yeah.
want to make sure that everything is immaculate. And I woke up this morning and Joe was rearranging shoes.
I was rearranging shoes. That was the first thing the first thing I said to you was, you have to get your shoes out of here. I said, I actually think I then followed up with, you're not in trouble.
Yeah,
I
you
was
said
like,
you're not in trouble, but you have to get your shoes out of here. And I was like, okay, I will absolutely do that. Don't even worry about it.
So anyway, what was the point of this story?
We were talking about the Gatorade and
No, it was I was Sam breakup.
yeah.
I'm playing Webkins on my computer. Club Penguin, just doing what I do best. Probably iCarly's probably on the TV. I'm wearing Abercrombie head to toe.
And it's wearing you.
It's wearing yeah. It's certainly wearing me, and I'm sure fingers deep in a Pringles can
For sure.
and I get an AIM message from Sam, and she must have had to message at that point. My username was bbelkid8296 or nastyboy285.
Do you think that she had a workshop like this message, like with her mother?
I'm sure Joanne helped draft it. I'm sure Patty knew.
Oh my God! The
it?
fact that your mom knew that you were about to get
broken up with. Yeah, I'm sure everyone knew but me. And I don't remember really being that startled. You know what I mean? I don't remember taking it that hard. I think
you felt like there was
I think she was
drip
like,
was happening.
As we are going into like middle school now, like I feel like we should like maybe see other people. Which she really, thank God she pulled that Band-Aid off, because I probably would have married her.
Joe,
you know what I mean? I would have just kept that going.
I would have been at your wedding.
Yes.
And you would have still been doing this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so she was definitely like, for middle school, number one bestie was Sam, up until like third grade.
Or elementary school, you mean?
Elementary school, sorry, yeah. But then I think in the middle of that is when like Mikey Longituda entered the villa, who I love and I miss him dearly.
It's like you had all of these men. You had all these
Mustafa, Mikey, yeah, and Muscarella.
And Muscarella.
Yeah.
I didn't really have many men in my life besides Joe. I will say that I was friends with Nader. Nader was probably my other closest friend, and I would go over his house. And this is when I started to learn, like, maybe I am a little different. And it wasn't because I was attracted to him. Looking back, probably I was. Mm-hmm. But the reason I thought I was different is because I would go over there and we would play, like, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh my God, that was the worst part. Oh my God.
That was the, like, performative, like, I was
playing boy games.
Yeah, I was performatively being a boy and playing the games that they wanted to play. Yeah, so like,
wow, no wonder we hung out.
Yeah, Joe, because I didn't want to go over people's houses and open up my book of cards and be like, "Yeah, you trying to trade?" Like that actually was my worst fucking nightmare. I didn't want to see a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I didn't want to see a Pokemon card. And that's how I knew I was different. And there's no shade, no tea. If you're still doing that, that's amazing. And I actually am really, really jealous because those cards probably cost $100,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, people have some collector's items.
I'm sure.
Imagine we had the same cards we had when we were in 5th grade.
Yeah, I had a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
But I never knew
how to play.
And then I had to be boy-splained. They had to boy-splain to me.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, explain to me who this is and why I should say you want this card. And I was like, this is not fun for
it wasn't fun for me at all. It wasn't fun for me at all. Like, I didn't want to learn the rules. I liked having the cards. The cards I thought were fun to hold, but like Yu-Gi-Oh, remember like Digimon? What was Digimon?
Yep.
Pokemon I also was not into, except for Pokemon Snap, the Nintendo 64 game where you took pictures of the Pokemon. That was really fun for me. I loved that game.
And then I mean, like Tamagotchis, those were like a little bit before
that
our day,
was
but I still,
gear.
but yeah, but I would like carry that shit around and I'd be like, oh shit, she's dead.
It was your purse.
It was my purse.
Tamagotchi was a purse. Look, It is not an easy time to find the time in your schedule to go food shopping and to prep a meal. I gotta say, it's just not.
It's sweater weather, and the last thing that you want to do sometimes is run out to that store. You just want to be able to eat, get comfortable, and get cozy.
Exactly. And with Factor, the chefs are doing the shopping and the chopping for you.
And you know what's beautiful about that? Are you a vegetarian? Are you doing keto? What about paleo? What about pescatarian? Oh, don't you worry. They have every option for you. You get to decide what you want.
And we've said it a million times. Factor's meals are some of the best in the game.
Truly.
It is truly nothing makes I know, and I've said it so many times, I know when I feel good, it's a result of the fact that I have Factor in the house because I actually am guaranteed to eat a well-rounded meal for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Like otherwise, sometimes I'm skipping a meal. Sometimes I'm just ordering fast food, and I don't want to do that all the time. So Factor does provide like stability and nutrition in a way that a lot of other services fail to do.
Yeah, and there's truly a plethora of options. Like you're never gonna get bored, and the meals aren't like meals you would be cooking for yourself for the most part. It's like you're getting a stroganoff. I'm like, I don't know the last time I had a stroganoff, but I miss it.
Right.
I enjoy it every single time. And you know what? I've been thinking about, you put it in that microwave, it takes 2 minutes. If you take it out of that container and you put it on a plate, it changes the game. It's like I have a home cooked meal that I feel like I made myself, and I'm serving it up to friends.
Ancient city style.
Ancient city style.
Head to factormeals.com/goodchildren50 and use code goodchildren50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month.
That's code goodchildren50 at factormeals.com/goodchildren50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. I was like, I don't want to go over your house unless we literally are playing house.
Did you and I ever play with toys though?
We weren't big toy heads.
Were you digging your grubby fingers into my Bratz collection? I feel like no.
Not really, but probably just like to see them stunt for a bit. But we weren't really ever playing with toys. The only ones I remember is like sometimes we'd have like little conversations with the Webkins.
No.
Sometimes. Yes, Joe.
We were too old for that. We were playing with on video, maybe like making a movie.
On video, okay. Littlest Pet Shops.
Yeah.
We were also a little old for that, but we were playing with them. What?
I'll never forget, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, but I remember, and maybe I haven't, and everything. This morning I had a really huge life-changing revelation about why I never got my license that I'm not going to share publicly. But I also...
Can you share privately with me later?
Yeah, later I will. But I'm just kind of realizing now why I felt so compelled to make movies my whole life. Because I'll never forget, I must have been in middle school at this point. Amanda was in high school, and one of her friends was over, and she was like so confused. Like I like overheard this conversation happen where she was so confused as to like why Amanda's little brother had like Littlest Pet Shops, and Amanda kind of like made up a little bit where she was like, oh, he like uses them to make movies, like he uses them to like make videos. And which was kind of true, but it wasn't the intended. Like I was using them because like those were my children, those were my daughters. But I think from that point forward, I was like, if I want to keep this shit, I have to use them to make movies. And then from that point forward, look where we are.
And then I became
You're my littlest pet shop. You're my littlest pet. You've been my littlest pet this whole time.
When you put it in the context of that, it makes a lot of sense.
It kind of makes a lot of sense.
I entered your house and you said,
you're my littlest pet.
Now I no longer need to work with inanimate objects. I have one right here.
Yes.
And he's willing to do anything.
Isn't that interesting?
It's really interesting that you had shame around playing with toys from your older sister who didn't know that she was passing that shame on to you.
She had no idea.
But then it created an artist.
It fostered a once-in-a-generation artist, yeah.
An artist who was making short films and movies from the moment he could even remember.
Yeah.
And that's why, Joe, honestly, at the end of the day, all of these friends that I've had, especially growing up, the younger ones, they've come, they've gone, but no one was putting me to work like you were. I think that's why I showed up all the time
because
too. I was
you
like,
love to work.
I love to work.
You love to have a purpose.
I love to work. I love to have a purpose, and I love to act and play and then be able to show it to somebody, aka your mother or my mother, and have them be like, wow, that was actually really funny.
It is
like,
crazy that's like actually the dynamic of our friendship, and it still is to this day. But yeah, back to playing with other boys. Like, remember my 6th grade party where we played football in the front yard?
Of course I remember your 6th grade party.
What the fuck was that about?
Like, well, who were you trying to trick? Like, I remember, no.
That was stupid as fuck.
In the street. We were playing, in the street.
And we were, like, in our faggy flip-flops.
Yeah, there was no way I was actually playing.
But and I think
pissed.
that I look back at those pictures, I'm pretty sure most of the boys invited have ended up gay, or at least half of them.
Yeah.
So it's like we were all there pretending to enjoy playing football for performance's purpose. Like,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Everyone's still thinking about it, probably being like,
why
remember
the fuck
Joe's
did Joe
6th
make us
grade
play
birthday?
football?
Yeah, it's like weird. Like, I mean, you wouldn't have wanted us to swim in your pool.
We did swim. We swam.
Oh my God, that's my tit day?
That's tit day. That's tit day 2007. When your tits were out.
When my tits were out and I was smizing at the camera.
That same day where you are posing double titted up is the same day that we play football in the front yard.
And we all are like on each other's shoulders.
Yes, yeah. So it really makes you think. I guess it's compulsory heterosexuality. It's like you had to do what other straight kids were doing. But I didn't even know I was gay yet.
Did I know I was gay yet? No, the only reason I think I knew I was gay is because I wanted to sit next to the boys in class. That's how I knew.
I always wanted to sit next to the girls.
No, see, like, I'd be like, oh, I don't. Listen, I think I've said this before, maybe, but I had a big crush on Connor. Right. But it all went to shit. And you know why I went to shit?
No, I don't.
The dog. The wiener dog.
Did you step on it?
I didn't step on that dog. I show up to his backyard for his 5th grade birthday.
What happened to the dog, Andrew?
Nothing happened to that dog.
Okay.
How about let's reframe that? What happened to this dog? What happened to this dog? Because I walk into the backyard, I see a cute, sweet little dog. And you know me at that time. I was saying I could not resist a dog. I couldn't resist a dog. So I see that dog. I immediately want to start playing with this dog. Okay. At first, it was vibing with me. It was vibing with it. Obviously, I'm by the food. I'm eating. This dog starts chasing me around the backyard. Not in a cute way.
A dachshund? A dachshund is chasing you in a panicky way?
Yes. Not in a cute way. And like, again, I was short and stout. Yeah, it's a small little dog. People are laughing at me. All the boys are laughing at me.
Everyone always got their pleasure from your pain.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Everyone is laughing at me as I'm running around the backyard. He had a column. There was a column.
Don't say you ran into the column.
I ran right into the column, slit my leg open.
How'd you get the fat lip from the dentist? Remember that one?
Kindergarten?
Yeah. Halloween.
Well, Fat Lip Day.
Yeah.
Fat Lip Day, that was the worst. That was honestly, that's where a lot of things started for me because I had to show up in that Frankenstein shirt.
Yeah.
With a fat lip.
No, Frankenstein costume.
Oh, Frankenstein costume.
You had HMU that day. It was full hair and makeup.
Yeah, I had hair and makeup that day with a fat lip.
Yeah.
How it happened was, did it come from the dentist or did I just actually like bite my lip?
Maybe you bit your lip.
I think I bit my lip really hard and then I think I got a fatty and then I had to go into school that day and like everyone was like, well, you have fat.
I just remember my mom. I remember like, it's so crazy how some memories are so vivid. I remember that Halloween kindergarten parade where we all like went outside and did the parade for the kindergartners in costume. And afterwards, like it was your mom, my mom, you and me. And I think maybe my mom said like, Andrew, what happened to your lip? And you were like, or maybe no, you like presented the information. You were like, I got a fat lip. Just like that. I just remember it so vividly. I got a fat lip.
Because I feel like in those moments I need to tell people what's going on so they can't tell me what's going on.
So
I needed to just get ahead of it.
Someone was going to say, Andrew, you have a fat ass lip today.
Exactly. I was mortified about it. Obviously, I was young, but I was like, it's embarrassing that I have a fat lip. I mean, these lips are always fat. They're always big and plump and juicy. But at that point, I was like, it was sagging down. It was down here. And I was like, I can't I have to explain
I
myself.
have to explain myself to Patty.
To Patty, she's going to be like, what's going on at home? Why do you got a fat lip?
I could have sworn the dentist had something to do with it.
I'm sure. I mean, there were moments when I was a kid, I had 9 cavities at a time. Yeah. I'll never
Were
forget
you ever
when I went to
brushing
the
your teeth?
Yes, I was brushing my teeth all the time. I'll never forget that one time I went into the dentist. I had 9 cavities. What were
That's
they
going to be me when I get dental insurance.
Yeah.
Well, I have it. I just haven't gone to the dentist.
Well, supposedly cavities are also genetic. And the
Amanda's
teeth
never
in my
had a cavity in
family,
her life.
bad.
The teeth on the Hedges side are horrible. But the skin on the Hedges side is amazing. So take it or leave it. But the disease is not great.
I don't want to get into the medical history of my family.
Both of my parents are starting to get diagnosed with like the same things, like the same like joint issues and shit. Like I'm like, what am I gonna do?
You got to get that body moving.
I know. That's actually what I have to do. That's like the answer. And I'm like ignoring it, but it's like I have to make sure I exercise until the day I die.
Literally.
It's like sciatica shit.
That's how we avoid it. You got to keep that body 20 minutes of movement a day.
Well, I do that at least. At least I walk for 20 minutes a day minimum.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
I wasn't being nasty.
I'll pull up the health app.
Show me the health app.
I will
later,
after this.
please.
Yeah.
I need to see that for my own peace of mind.
So yeah, Mikey Lagatuda was my next bestie, I would say.
Yeah.
And me and Mikey was like my like friend who was a boy. He actually was serving boy. Like we were into like nerdy shit together.
Yeah, you were like geeking out.
We were geeking out in a big way because it was like Aragon, like the Aragon series. Like if you know, Christopher Paolini. That was the author's name.
Sounds hot.
Aragon, it was drawing. Mikey was an artist, so I was getting really into drawing at that point. Harry Potter was a big one. We were all reading the Harry Potter series, me, Mikey, and Leah Ragno. We were the 3 Horizons kids in 3rd grade, the 3 gifted and talented in our class. So we were all like, everyone else was on Because of Winn-Dixie shit.
Me.
We were on fucking Goblet of Fire. We were on the Order of the Phoenix,
It's like not fair. It's like again, and we've said this before, but like I wanted to be talented. You know what I mean? Like
gifted
talented. I wanted
to
to receive gifts. Like that's my love language, is receiving gifts.
Gifted and talented.
I wanted to be gifted, and I wanted to show my talent.
No,
and
it really does make you think. What a horrific name for that.
Horrible to be like,
all
Joe's going to gifted and talented. But here I am.
Well, they didn't call it that. They did call it Horizons, I guess, probably for that reason, why it was called Horizons.
But it was the gifted and talented.
Everyone knew that, but at least they weren't like, I wasn't walking around saying that I'm a gifted and talented kid. I was walking around being like, I'm in Horizons.
It was just a name for people who were just very smart.
Yeah.
Just your IQ. I mean, you guys had talent. You guys were like very talented.
I miss that. I would do anything to be back in Horizons. That was the best time of my life.
I would do anything to be back in the regular classes.
To be what?
To be back in regular classes.
Okay. Anyway, Mikey was a great one. Our friendship lasted, I think, through middle school.
Yeah.
Because we were in a lot of the same classes throughout middle school. And then I think I would say who was the next big bestie for me in middle school?
I know my besties.
I think it was kind of the same people, right?
Because sixth grade, I was introduced to a bunch of different people. We all had the similar classes, and that is where I met John Paul Weiss.
Dun, 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 dun.
John Paul, I know you're listening. I know he's listening. John Paul was my best friend throughout high school.
Yeah.
And we won superlatives best friends. We really did everything together. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like what the difference between you and John Paul was probably a little bit more like the sporty.
Yeah.
And that's
probably a little bit more like mature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a little bit cooler.
Yeah, definitely like maybe a little cooler in middle school.
You're saying I was cooler in high school?
I think that like you came into yourself in high school.
I definitely came into myself, yeah.
So I think that like we all were a little bit weird. I think that's what brought us all together. But yeah, no, me and John Paul just shared a lot of the similar interests when it came to fashion as well.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. A lot of the same fashion.
An aspiration to be in government.
It was almost kind of like we were giving clones of each other.
Yeah.
Both body. was almost identical.
Yeah, you were serving body together.
Height was exact.
You were the Claremont twins of Farmingdale High School.
Exactly. The glasses were exact.
Yeah.
Those fits were exact.
Yeah.
I was president. He was vice president. It was really like we were doing everything.
Yeah, that must have been psychotic, actually, for the two of you.
Yeah.
It must have been Girls So Confusing every single day of your life.
It kind of was Girls So Confusing because I know we've mentioned this story. And
First day of school.
And I think that supposedly I had it twisted. I had it wrong. This is how the story went. We went shopping for our first day of school outfits. My mother was with us. My mother must have said to John Paul, you should get that outfit. It looks good on you. Or that looks like a good outfit.
And then you got the same outfit.
Supposedly.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm sorry. Like, with love and respect for you, always, that sounds about
And then
right.
I probably was like, he doesn't own Vineyard Vines.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up in that. And then he was upset. And then I was like, why is he upset? It's fine. No one even cares that we're wearing the same outfit.
And you definitely told everyone that he copied you.
And I felt like
Down
I was,
to the set
and
on
you
the
know,
podcast.
I felt like I was showing up stunk down. I was like,
you have to really, like, I need you at home to really imagine, like, you've seen pictures of Andrew in senior year of high school. You've seen him in high school. Imagine him walking in thinking he is Naomi to John Paul's Tyra. You know, like, actually walking in that hallway being like, I'm fucking eating this shit up.
and I was like, maybe John Paul's jealous because I look better than him in this outfit. Okay, so maybe he should.
And you guys actually looked the exact same.
We looked like we started Vineyard
Yes,
Vines. It was
yeah,
Shep
yeah,
and
yeah,
Ian
yeah.
walking through
Stop
the
saying
halls
their names.
of Farmingdale High School.
Shep and Ian is insane.
It's insane. Yeah, but that's the what we served, and I'll never forget.
You guys were Shep and Ian, and you and I were Ben and Jerry.
We
Easy
were
as that.
Ben, and we were certainly eating.
Mhm,
And
yes.
we weren't eating down. We were just eating.
We were a creamery in a very serious way.
Oh God, I hate that you called us a creamery.
Well,
we
and
were
it
definitely.
remains true to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, my high school experience is a little bit different because I was introduced to a new pot of people. But I think in middle school, it was for sure those girls. It was that whole group. It was the Tours and the Victorias and John Paul and Trisha. I can't think of if there was any other, like, I would hate to disrespect someone who was, like Brendan and Mary Kate and Shannon. We became a big group, the three of us, actually, in like 8th grade or like maybe 7th grade.
Yeah.
But that was a core. We would go to fucking Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
We go to Borders. Sorry, Borders. Rest in peace to Borders Nicole Smith.
Borders Nicole Smith.
Yes,
Rest
my
in
girl,
peace,
you're so explosive.
And
Say
those
hey to Bed Bath and Beyond.
and
Radio Shack.
and Filene's Basement.
Filene. You're kind of the Filene's Basement of this podcast.
I am the Filene's Basement. Again, that is such a good drag name.
Filene's Basement. Oh my God. Yeah, but that was my group. And that was, again, I guess I just kept getting weirder and weirder, which I think was for the best. And I think that if you're raising a child right now, if you have a child, if you're with child, if you've had one recently, if there's one in your life, encourage that kid to be as weird as humanly possible. Encourage them to just have no friends except for like 2 or 3 because everyone else thinks they're a freak. Encourage them to read every fantasy children's book series. Encourage them to take up every creative hobby they possibly can, because I do think ultimately that shit pays off in your 20s.
Oh, for sure.
Because once you graduate college and like the popularity game kind of is behind you, you're like, who the fuck am I? What do I do? What do I like? Like, and I unfortunately knew who I was from a very young age in some ways.
You did. And you kind of won.
Well, then I feel like actually in my 20s, I did lose sight of who I was because I think I was finally able to take control over the narrative.
Yeah.
So I was like, now I can be like this like cool bitch. And I think that that's out the window because of this podcast. So that actually kind of really freed me up.
You don't think we'll ever be seen as cool ever again?
I think we're cool in the way that like we're like people who who don't care what other people think are cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that we're like cutting edge cool.
No,
but I
for
think
sure
that
not.
we like don't care.
Not trying to be.
Which I think is like the thing I had to come back to, because that was like middle school for me. I did not care what anyone thought about me. By my early 20s, I cared the most I ever cared.
Yeah, but the difference is when you're in middle school, you're like, I don't care what people are thinking about me. But then there's also people being like, what's going on with Joe?
Oh, they're actively bullying you.
They're
That's
actively bullying you. They're like,
yeah.
okay, he doesn't really do anything, or he's not really speaking.
I was doing a lot, actually. I was at Borders every single week.
In work.
I was putting in work. I was at Borders eating hummus. I was eating hummus at Borders because the Percy Jackson premiere. Me, Mary Kate, Brendan, and Shannon went to the book premiere of Percy Jackson, whatever, one of the books, and I'll never forget. Imagine this poor 18-year-old, like probably younger employee, had to host this party. No one else came.
Just the four of
It was the four of us.
And there was free hummus?
There was crudité. There was a whole crudité platter.
Joe, if you were to tell me there was going to be a crudité, I would have been there.
I just don't think that was your culture. You know, it wasn't really
to
for
be at
you.
the books.
Be at the Percy Jackson premiere party.
No, but I went to any premiere party, because especially at a Borders, because you know a Borders was always in a shopping center, and I was always heading right next to that pizzeria or a Swirls and Swirls or getting something.
And the bagel... What's the bagel place in Airport Plaza?
Bagel Factory.
Bagel Factory is one of the best bagels you can possibly get on Long Island, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you could go to Borders, you'd end up at Bagel Factory, and then when you'd wait for your parents to pick you up, you'd walk through like Bed Bath & Beyond.
And then if you were to extend your day,
go to Target. No, go to PetSmart.
Go to PetSmart, but then you're like, oh, let's go to the movies.
Cheeseburger. The movies. If you need a day on Long Island, all you have to go is to Airport Plaza in Farmingdale, and you could spend the whole day entertained.
Because again, they have entertainment. They have movies. They have the movies. They have Applebee's.
They used to have Dave & Buster's.
Oh
my God, that parking lot is home to so much of the lore.
Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Cheeseburger.
PetSmart.
Davis Vision.
Well, that was all you. Massage Envy. Oh my God, it actually is the most pivotal parking lot.
Massage Envy, the home of my masseuses from high school. I miss those massages.
Papayardos? No. What's the...
No, you're thinking... That's not Papa. That's,
George...
No, it's not Gino's. It's not going to come to me.
That was an interesting pizzeria.
Yeah, it's always...
It was unique.
Very unique.
Hallmark store Webkins. You could... Oh my God. Best days of my life were spent in that parking lot.
Yeah.
Best days of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I think I was so weird at that point. I had my friends. Had I stayed in Farmingdale, I would have been fine. But because I got to my weirdest point and then went right into high school, that was a tough pivot. I made some friends, but, you know, not in a very serious way up until Sarah, sucking with. Miss Sucking herself. And sucking.
She just started sucking.
No, she didn't. Please. No, Sarah never sucked. But she is sucking. And it was sucking. And then I think the next... Well, I also had Emily. I guess there were some people. There were some characters. I had friends, but just like in the later half. But second, Emily and Frank, I would say, were the main three, except everyone else who probably would never claim to know who I was anymore. There's a few of them.
There's a few others.
There's a few of them.
Yeah. It's really interesting. It's like the fact that we had two different lives. We really have had such different lives. Like in a way that like I had close friends, and we've mentioned them in high school, but like I was really pouring myself out to anybody. I just wanted so badly for people to like me. I would have done anything. And people still were stealing my windshield wipers. People were still making fun of me.
So badly for people to like me
so badly.
You wanted to be loved. I wanted to be feared.
Yes.
It really does come down to that.
Yes. And you know what? At the end of the day,
we stuck with it. We're stuck with that exact mentality now.
With that mentality.
Almost 30-year-olds.
10 years later from high school graduating, I'm planning the reunion. So joke's on who?
Joke's on you. Joke is on you.
Joke is so on me.
But also, like, it doesn't feel like it's been 10 years. It really kind of freaks me out.
Yeah.
But then when I think about the fact that COVID almost happened 5 years ago, I'm like, oh, everything else makes sense. Never mind.
I can't even recognize
Fall 2019 was 5 years ago.
No.
5 full years ago. 5 years. It feels like yesterday.
Mm-mm.
Yesterday.
I don't even remember.
People born
the
in
person.
2020 are 16 now. Let that sink in.
2020, they're 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It is wild. It is wild. The people that we used to be camp counselors for,
they're like literally older than us now.
they're they're literally like 18.
Don't even say that.
No, they're not. They're like 14.
Oh, they're
15.
like almost done high school. Yeah, you're right. That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
It's really sad and sick and twisted because time.
Curious time.
Time, curious time.
Give me no compasses, give me no highs.
It goes quick. It goes quick, and it's so easy. It's so easy to let it slip by you. But
Because I've been afraid of changing.
I've been.
I've built my life around you.
Mm-hmm. I've been afraid of changing, but you know what? It's all right to allow yourself to change.
You know what?
Something can change within you.
Turn and face the strange.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna have to be a different girl. Because time may change me,
Change it.
but I can't trace time.
That's-
Time may change me.
But I can't trace time. Oh wow. Oh wow. That's like, I kind of feel like that's the whole point of this episode.
It became
like
about time, curious time. After
It kind of just came
all.
about time because it's like we were just reflecting on our friendships.
Well,
And then I look and I was like, some of them were really, they're behind us.
and also as we were saying it, I was like, oh my God, we're like, when you said it was 10 years ago, I was like, why the fuck are we talking about high school? How are we still talking about this shit? I know it's like the point of the podcast, but I was like, oh wow, like, are we ever going to move on? Are we ever going to move on from this? Like, it's getting kind of pathetic.
It's getting pathetic. And I'm being so serious. I'm like, at the same exact time, like, yeah, we want to reflect on nostalgia and we are reflecting on nostalgia, but I think that, like, you know, we'll start talking about what's going on today.
Well, I don't want to do that either.
I get that. Should we just cancel? We just end the podcast?
It's almost like we need to come in with more themes, specific themes, because I don't know how much longer I can ruminate
Yeah,
on the same years of my life.
I agree.
I think it's getting weird.
Yeah. We'll come up with a whole new structure.
Maybe.
Holy shit. Good children to the guidance office.
Hey, Joe and Andrew. Just thought of something to ask. I was curious if you could, like, share any stories about times that you've been, like, left alone at your house, like, whether it was for, like, an extended period of time or just, like, one overnight thing. Like, what did you do? What were your thoughts? Or I guess if you've never been left at home alone, like, do you wish that you ever had that experience? Or, like, what would you do if you did have a free house? Okay, thanks, bye.
Were you ever left at home alone?
I was always left at home alone. And that's no shade to my parents, like, literally at all. Like,
They had shit to do.
they had shit to do. And I was old enough. I was, like,
Yeah.
6th grade or whatever. And I kind of loved being left home alone because it would be my freaking concert. I would turn that house. I would be roaming every single hall. I'd be doing dance routines, a little kitchen island. My stomach was on that island. I'm sorry to my parents. Like, I was beach wailing in on the island. Yeah, no, I would perform down, and I think that's why my parents were so shocked to know that I sang, is because I would always wait for everybody to leave for me to do that. But yeah, that's what I would do. I probably would also just, like, cook. I would eat as much as I possibly could. Also a problem. Also a problem. Also for sure an issue. And I would bake. I would just bake when I was alone.
I would I think I would also perform down.
Yeah.
I mean, immediately Jar of Hearts karaoke version on
Immediately.
YouTube. Photo booth up. Like, that was like number one.
It's like door closes. They're in their car. It's
No, I
immediate.
can't take one more step towards you.
Anymore. Mine was
Hello?
Selena. Because I'm dreaming of you tonight till tomorrow. I'll be holding you tight. Yeah, it was like sad because I'm like, whoa, I'm 12.
Well, that's what J-Lo did to us with that movie. You know, really impacted us every Spanish class.
Every single Spanish class.
Back to back to back, years after years after year.
Yeah.
I feel like it was that. I also have really fond memories of when my mom would like go to like a PTA meeting or like a parent teacher conference, and it'd be me, my sister, and my dad home. My dad would like let us take like our like rollerblades or our skateboards inside, and like we would like do like we'd like roll around the house, and that was always really, really fun. It was really cute.
Wait, that's sweet.
But like for sure damage the fucking floors.
Oh, absolutely.
But
like on like wood floor.
Yeah.
If I was your mother, I would actually
He let us do it.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was always sweet.
There was something so nice about being left alone when you were younger, because you were like, oh, in your delusional head, you're like, I own this house, and this is now I'm the adult here, and I can do whatever I want, and I'm gonna make my food. I'm gonna live my life.
See, like
and
we were not
sleep.
the same child in that way. Like I was not making my own food.
Yeah, you weren't even ironing. No, I was taking on the responsibility of an adult. I loved it. It was my favorite thing ever. So yeah, that's what I would do if I was left home alone, amongst other things.
Wow.
Well, Charli.
Honestly, Troy, I was not expecting us to have this conversation today.
I was also not expecting us to talk about this.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. So thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Good Children. Don't forget to do your homework.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, review. Send it to your friends, and let everybody know that you can find us across all social media platforms at Good Children Pod. I'm on Instagram at Andrew Muscarella, and on TikTok at Andrew_Muskie.
I'm on Instagram at Joe Hedges. And don't forget, every single Friday we have an exclusive Patreon episode, $7 a month for the entire backlog of over 100 episodes, and a new bonus video and audio episode every single Friday, plus access to our chats. Until then, just keep living that life.
You just got me started. Yeah, continue to feel the rush, baby.
I just wanna go back to 1999, take a ride through my old neighborhood. I just wanna go back, say hit me baby one more time. I wanna go back to where I came from, playing a guitar and have a beautiful view. I just wanna go back to 1999.